Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Friday 365. I'm your host, Matthew, and remember to subscribe so you can join me on this journey where every day is Friday. Today, I got a really special guest joining us, Luna. She is a songwriter and a singer. She creates music with real emotion, the kind you feel, and she's inspired by jazz and R&B. Welcome to the show.
Hey, hi! Hey, how are you guys doing?
Now, she is originally from California, and now she's bringing her talents here to Michigan to build her own path. I want to start off by saying, how did your journey into music first begin?
Oh man, where to start? Where to start? Well, I mean, it started when I was a kid. My mom was really into music. My mom was born in Oakland, California. And so we were like nearby Berkeley, San Francisco. And we had a lot of musicians in our lives. Like my mom used to like do a lot of jazz, R&B. She knew a lot of the Castillos. She knew a lot of the people that did like, a lot of the jazz scene. And she introduced us to music. And she always said, listen to different types of music because the music makes you feel, but you can also have a respect for other people's cultures and other people's music because you can vibe with a lot of different things. Some things you feel more connected to than others with music. Like some people like rock or some people like hip hop or some people like country. It's like something I believe in our genetics that like makes us gravitate to that type of music, if that makes any sense. So
Now,
she always
Luna,
just said, make it
because
like
you
a big
grew
ride.
up in, yeah, you grew up in California. I mean, where you grew up, did it like shape your music at all?
Yes, absolutely it did. Because I mean, where I grew up, I mean, we were in Berkeley, California, and Oakland, and then also Fairfield. So it was like we had a lot of culture differences in our community. So like everybody was like a melting pot. So like I had friends from all different ethnicities, which is really weird because out here in Michigan, a lot of people are in different little like sections, and in California, it's not like that because you go to school, public school, and there's like just different varieties. You have Japanese, you have Chinese, you have Black, you have African American, you have everything, and Asian, Spanish, and it's like you all become friends. We're not always in like our little groups. We all kind of became friends. We kind of like went with the different genres of like if you're into anime, which I was one of those nerds that like Japanese animations. So I mean, and then you had the people that were into the music scene, or people that were into hip hop, or people that were into rock. So they all had their own little like things, but we always like communicated and conversed with everybody, if that makes sense, in our school and my upbringing.
Yeah, I mean that kind of change can like really shift your whole perspective on your music and your culture and everything you're going towards. I mean, how was it from like moving from California to Michigan change you as an artist? Did it change you at all?
It did. I feel like I got more grounded in Detroit. Because in California, it's really hard to basically work with people because they always put you like on the back burner if everybody's doing something because it's very fast. It's like New York. It's like it's grab and go. But here, the communities out here, they take the time to work with you. They take the time to give you the heads up. They actually do what they say they're going to do, unlike some of the people I've had in California. Not all people are like that in California, but the majority of people I worked with in California were very like, okay, I'll get back to you. And it would be like 3 months later. As of in Detroit, like they're like, I'll get back to you. It's like within a week. So there was like a big difference when I seen that because the communities out here and they're with the music scene, you kind of see like the same kind of rotation of people, which is really, really great. I really loved it because I'm just like, man, this is really going far. And you have your friends I work with a lot of great producers out here like Tommy Poppy, Aztec, Nando. There's just so many. And Danny S, Victorino, like these are all people that are really that do music out here. Raquel, she's a really good artist as well. Macho, one of my favorite artists, he's out here as well. So he does like more like a rock pop, like kind of, he's just amazing. So, I mean, just seeing those different categories with the different artists. And then here I come in where I'm like very jazz, soulful, like, type of style of music that I do. So more storytelling than just, anything else.
100%, Luna. How did you fall in love with jazz and R&B?
My mom. And also because we were in Oakland, mind you, like when you're in Oakland and you're hearing the jazz and you're hearing the music and you're going to these like restaurants. Me and my mom used to go to Ben Bay's a lot. It was really cool. So we really got to tap into a lot of different things. Like we would go to like some clubs sometimes and my mom would be like, because she'll drop off like a piece that they needed or something. And I like peek in and I'll be like, oh, that's so cool. Or they would have like a really cool like bimbay where it's like a whole bunch of people gathering. It's family, orientated, so it's like a lot of people, but they had performances there. They also had a lot of park shows where you'd go to your park and you would go and get a little picnic basket, put your blanket out, and they'd have like music. So I mean, that's what kind of like what Oakland was about a lot, and you just had like that kind of scene. So when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of that type of music in that type of environment. So it was really cool. So I really loved jazz and R&B, but I also really love Japanese music because I'm really huge on like Japanese animations and stuff like that. But I really also loved, Indian music, Bali music. It was just stuff I used to like. And these are all part of my friends that I was social, like, conversing with and that were part of my life. Because mind you, I had a lot of friends from different cultures. My best friend, like, from back in the day, like her name was Danielle, but she goes by D. She's like Chinese and Filipino. And then her friend and my friend Cynthia and Maiko, they were Japanese and white. So it was just like hearing like the different styles of music and learning about the different cultures because they're your friends and you're surrounded by these type of people. It influences you a lot, but they also have a love for like a lot of different styles of music, like the 80s music or, like jazz or like The Cure, Duran Duran, or it's just like all of those type of things, and these are like things that we all grew up listening to. My godmom Elsa, she also influenced me a lot with the music I listened to because I would stay with her a lot when I was a little kid, and they used to play all like types of 80s music, and I absolutely loved it. It was just something that I was like, I wanted to do that. I wanted to be a singer. And growing up with the Disney Channel, I really enjoyed seeing the music. And when I was 13, I think that's when I really actually was talking to my friend and I said, you know what, I think I want to do music. And that's when I actually made the decision that I was never going to give up and I was just going to do my music, and I just started from there. Of course, life happens and, you start working and you start, getting into the programming of like 9 to 5, and then time passes you by and it's just like, but I never forgot my music because I still worked on it no matter what. So I was very blessed to have a lot of people that helped me with a lot of stuff. My friend Chuck from Honorful Productions, he introduced me to a lot of beautiful stuff and like education, like of knowing your stuff and your craft, knowing what you need to know. So I had a lot of great people that were like I guess you could say like my mentors because they helped me realize like, you got to have this structure in your life to what you need to do. In other words, it's like, hey, make sure you have A, B, and C. If you don't have A, B, and C, you need to work on that first before even thinking about the next chapter.
Those styles that you sing, the jazz and R&B, those styles have a lot of feeling in them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's basically the way I write or the way I produce my, like, well, not produce, but sing and write my music is I'll work with a producer. They'll send me some music. And whatever I'm feeling or what I'm going through at that moment in that time, that's usually what comes out. And it could be anything. It could be a story that I heard from one of my sisters and they were going through something and it influenced me to write something. It could have been something from my mom that, did something and it was just like, oh man, like we got all this stuff like that she went through made me influence, But a lot of my stuff is more like I kind of just like to get lost in the music. I know that makes like it's kind of weird to say, but it's like I really get lost in music. So when I hear stuff pretty about like 85 to 90% of my music is all one takes. And I just freestyled. That's like how I do it now. And I'll go back. Like if there's something I want to fix, I'll go back and write, okay, I don't really like this word. So I'm going to change it to this word. Or I want to go back to this and then do that. So that was kind of like how my stuff was going.
Yeah, I mean, for real, not everyone knows how to do that.
Yeah. Like you could put rock, pop, R&B, anything. I'm not even kidding, country, and I could freestyle to it. Like even if you were like, okay, freestyle to this, I would be able to do a whole thing. And everybody's like blown away from that. But I've been doing this since I was a kid though. Like since I was a little, girl, I always used to mumble like do my little la da 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 da, or I'll be like la da 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 da. And I just had fun with it and it was fun and it was expressing. So when I do my music now, it's just kind of like I'm just expressing that and just like what I'm feeling in that moment or what inspired me through the music. Like, what do I hear in this music? I'm thinking a nightclub, or I'm thinking a jazz festival, or I'm thinking ice cream shop. And that's how I kind of like write my music. It kind of like just flows from there.
You know what you did right there. I mean, how did you turn your emotions into like your songs, and how do you how do you turn it into a real song like that?
I mean, it's hard to explain. It's just, it's a part of me. I don't know. It's kind of like, you just express it, and when people give you categories with music, sometimes like they'll be like, okay, make a song about fairies, right? And I'll be like, nah, I don't have any fairy stuff or anything like that, but I'll have like, other stuff. And they'll be like, well, do something like that. And it would inspire me, you know? Sometimes I had one artist that I work with Explorers. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's really awesome. They're both great. They're brothers that I work with. I did a recording of the song. They said what you said. They're like, how do you do that? They're like, were you like super high or something? I was like, no, I don't ever do anything like that. It's just my spirituality and the way I look at the world is different from others. And that's the best way I can express it. So when somebody says, how are you feeling in this moment? Well, I feel calm and collective, but I also feel a little bit nervous. So how would that sound? And then I'll just kind of like reproduce it like in a melody or a sound or what I'm hearing, I don't know if that makes sense, but like it's kind of like when you hear songs or you hear a trumpet or you hear flutes or a cello or a violin, how does that make you really feel? Like get in touch with that. Like when I hear like a saxophone player, there's one guy I follow, I forgot his name, but he plays a saxophone and I'm just like, man, it just puts me in a really calm place. And it makes me feel really comfortable. And it puts me like in like I get kind of like an illusion, like, okay, I can see myself in a coffee shop. So what would that look like in music? And how would I express that, through music and my expression of what I'm feeling? So that's what I kind of do when I do my freestyling. It's just like a feeling.
And you have a single that's out called Crazy Train we just talked about and you're singing to me. Do you mind sharing that right now?
Yeah, I know. Crazy Train's awesome. Let me put it on real quick for you guys. Let's see. And then click. Of course, it doesn't want to work now. Life is life, and right, guys? Here we go. Ooh. Ooh. Hey. Ooh. Yeah. Emotions are coming from me like a crazy train. Oh, yeah. Emotions are coming to me like a crazy train. And this world goes around. I feel my love growing. Every time I look up at the stars, I see the love growing within me. And 'cause I'm taking this train all the way to my destiny. To my destiny.
That was
So yeah, do
beautiful.
stuff like that. Thank you.
You know, we talked briefly about how did your niece become such a big inspiration for your music?
Oh my gosh, my nieces are my inspiration for everything I do. Before I used to do music because I just love doing music, but as I've gotten older, I was like, you know what? I want to leave a legacy for my nieces because for me, it's a big step because when I'm gone, they can go back and all of my music, if you listen to all of the different styles of music I do, they're all stories. They're all something you can relate to. Like my Well Wishes as example. Like Well Wishes is about like relaxing, even though the world's going crazy, when you just want to sit back and relax and have a cup of wine. So like I want my nieces to have like, okay, I'm missing Auntie, I can play it and there she is. I don't want them ever to feel alone in that moment. And I feel like that was my main thing, was to leave them something where, they can feel comfortable enough to like listen to the music and still be I'm still with them and part of them. Does that make sense? Like, it's just something I wanted to leave in my legacy, because I'm like, why? I mean, because if I had an auntie that I knew was possibly going to go soon, or getting older, and, at all of this age, it's like, I would love to listen to my auntie's voice, because I think that's one of the big things for me. When someone passes, the thing you miss the most is their voice. It's the way they speak. It's the way they make you feel, like how they crack their jokes, or they're like super like funny, and they're like, hey, da 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 da. And you miss those little quirky moments. And if I can put that in music, where it kind of just shows my personality still, and they can reflect on that, even if I'm not around, then I've done my job. But I want everybody to feel that way too, though, because I think it's important, even if you don't have a family. Like, if you're going through something and you put on one of my songs and it made you feel some type of way, and it made you feel something, you're not alone in that, because that is for the people. That is for the art. That is for the music. That is why I do what I do, because I want people to not feel so alone in the world, when a lot of people do. And especially nowadays, with everything that's been going on, and everybody's been going through their ups and downs, their emotions. And it's really important to me that, they have something to fall back on, if that makes sense. Like, and I mean, how great is that? Like, you can, like, if me and you were friends for 3 years, and all of a sudden I pass, I can go back to your videos and see these podcasts and be like, oh my God, that was him. That was him. That's what he did. That was Matty. That was awesome. And I think that's so amazing and great. Like, I feel so blessed to have that, and I think, like, if somebody has that with them always, it never really dies, if that makes any sense.
It never really dies. Plus, it's there forever at that time in your life. You can look back at it, go, well, a couple of years ago, when I was doing this, when I first started my podcasting career, when I first started my singing career, that's what I sounded like. And look at me now.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the self-growth.
Yeah, seeing the growth, seeing it happen, seeing you change as an individual, growing, and becoming the version of yourself now, because there's different versions of us every 5 years. A
You
lot of people
know,
don't realize that, but it's the truth.
no, 100%. I'm an artist as well. I told you this. And
Yeah.
one person told me this when I was first starting off. They're asking me, I'm going to ask you before I give you my answer. Now, if your music had a color, what color would it be and why?
If my music had a color, what music would it be and why? I would say all colors. Honestly, all colors. There's not a specific color, because all colors are different emotions, different feelings, different past, different presence, different future. So I'd say all colors. It would be
I
like
love that.
think of a crystal, like with multiple colors that shift while you shift. That's what I would do.
Now, how do you want people to feel when they hear your music and your voice?
I want them to feel good and drawn, and just feel at peace, or feel like, oh, I like that, like, I want them to feel like, oh, I felt that vibe right there, when we do stuff like, when you do like a melody and you're like, hey, it's like, ooh, girl, or you're like, hey, you know what I'm saying, you got it. It's like, whoa, I love that you'll be surprised how many people, when I actually perform, they never heard me sing, right? And when they do hear me sing, they're like, girl, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that from you at all. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah, because you seem such like a hopeful but nice young lady. And that powerful voice that comes out of you is just like crazy. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for a while, and everybody's like, it's kind of weird. And one thing I always hear, they say a lot, that I hear from artists or people, they said I sound really angelic, because when I sing, it sounds like there's music behind me. And they're like, how do you do that? And I don't really understand what they mean by that, because I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, when you sing, it sounds like I can hear the rest of what it is. And I never reflected on that until I started listening to myself a cappella. And I was like, you know what? You're kind of right. Because when I do sing, it kind of sounds like music in a way behind, but I don't know how I do that. It's just maybe because of my voice, maybe because I'm a loud singer. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. Like, when you're singing, do you ever like hear like melodies like behind you?
Yeah, different songs have different emotion behind them, I'd have to say. And like I
Yeah.
was saying with the colors, like different, every one of my songs had a different color behind it. It was
Oh,
just
that's
a
cool.
different emotion behind it. And I guess that's how you kind of feel in that time period, and that's how you create the song through emotion, and you share it with the world. And that's the beauty of music.
Yeah, that is, that is. And it's so great too because there's different types of music. Like, I mean, a lot of people are like, "You listen to rock?" I'm like, "Yeah, I actually listen to rock." They're like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious." I literally listen to like a lot of 80s music, like Sade, The Cure, all them. I love that type of style of music, but I also listen to like Bad Omens and like, that kind of music, heavy metal, corn. And everybody's like, I would never expect you to listen to that because you're a jazz artist. I'm like, yeah, but you get inspired by other things. I mean, come on, you think like Taylor Swift or Selena Gomez don't listen to like that type of music on their own time? Absolutely they do. Everybody has their thing, their little things that they like that they're drawn to. Because I like a lot of like animation, a lot of vampy music. I mean, I think it's just so cool. I mean, it's such a unique way of style of music that I think a lot of people kind of lost. You know what I mean? Especially like bands and stuff. You don't see a ton of bands anymore. It's like live bands. Everything's like audio, and it's just like, man, if you have that really good band, you're gonna go far.
I love your song Crazy Train. What's one song that you've wrote that means the most to you right now?
Oh my gosh, all of my songs mean the most to me, to be honest with you. I know that sounds really like stupid, but it's the truth because those are all things that I went through, and those are little shards, I say. I call them shards of me, of what I was going through at that time and moment. So they always have something that means something to me. Because all of my music I do isn't just, oh, I'm just gonna go record and that's it. No, there's a part of my spirit, my inner self that was in that moment, and I got myself out of that moment. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, whatever it was that I went through. But I love all my music because I have when you believe in your music and you have faith in your music, it's a different way of looking at it. But I guess for this purpose, a lot of my music that I like, I really do enjoy a couple of them actually. Drink of the Night's really fun that I did with Explorers. I love the one I did with DSYG, of course, like, Come On Baby. Crazy Train is one of my faves too as well. I also perform this song sometimes with my it's called gosh, what do we call it? Icarus. I really like that one too. And that one's more like EDM, electronic. It has like more of like a vampy type of thing. But performance wise, I really like Well Wishes. Well Wishes is one of my favorites to perform. I really enjoy that one as well. So,
With that being said, what's something that you've been through that shows up in your music?
oh, let's see. Depression, sadness, happiness, anger, um, joy, imagination. I have a song out called Fairy. That's literally a song about a fairy. Like it's crazy. And it's the funniest thing. But I mean, I was like watching some animation and I was like, oh, wouldn't that be cool to do like a little fairy song or something? And it was so funny because it was like whispers in the night sky, seeing so bright, I surrounded by love, surrounded by light. It was so cool, and it had like that little effect that they put on it. It was so cool. I did that one with Tommy Poppy, and it just made me feel good. And I was like, it was like a little inner child that came out, if that makes sense, because it's just like, oh, that's where my imagination was at that point in time. And it was cool and it inspired me because I was watching something that inspired me to do it. So, I mean, that's kind of like how all my music is. Like when I go through like a sadness or I see people going through sadness or depression, I feel a lot of that energy. And I try to like, what would if I were in their situation, what would I want to listen to uplift my spirit, to make me not feel so depressed, to not feel so closed down. So I do have a song called Breaking Down. And that one I did with Kivo, and it's a really good one too as well. And mind you, I do all my recording like in my room and on GarageBand. I don't work with multi-million-dollar studios and things like that. Like I do everything like from my home. And when I did Breaking Down, there was a part in the song that I really loved that I did. And the way it was like, if you listen to like the music that was with it, but the way I sang, there was a part that's like the hook part where I was like, I'm breaking down, 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 down. I'm breaking down, 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 down. And it it was like, whoa, it kind of like puts you in that whirlpool where it's just like, oh man, I really feel that. But then if you listen to the rest of the song, I get myself from breaking down, which I really love. And which is why I send like, and I do these music for my nieces. So when they feel like they're breaking down, they can listen to that song and uplift themselves up and be like, hey, Auntie said, don't break it down. We got to keep moving on. We got to keep shining bright. We got to keep moving forward.
No, 100%. A
What
lot
you
of
put out
people
there.
use music in a way to heal, letting it out. I mean,
Yes.
it's a way to just release all that energy in a way. I mean, music helps you like through hard times.
It does. And right now, I think it's really important to basically have that because I think a lot of people, when they are going through those, like we're going through hard times now. I mean, like we're at war, we're at all this crazy stuff that's going on in the United States. It's insane. How do you keep yourself from feeling like scared or frightened, and you don't want to have that mindset because if you have that mindset, everything else will fall down from there. You want to still be in that positive, but it's hard to be positive when you're around all this negativity, I guess you could say. So when you're listening to music, I always tell people when you feel down, listen to happy music. When you feel like you're lost, listen to inspirational music. When you feel like you just need to talk to somebody, listen to quotes like that people have made, because it helps them get through those type of moments. And I think that's like really important that, they have that because a lot of people, they don't realize like you are what you bring out. So if you're feeling sad and gloomsome, you got to start looking at funny videos so you can don't feel, so you can release the stuff in the brain that makes you happy and makes you excited. I think that's really important. But a lot of people, they forget, we were all kids at one point and they forget their inner child a lot. And I think that's really sad because people lose who they were. You know what I mean? I've heard so many stories with parents. I'm not a parent, but my sisters, my mom, they're like, yeah, when you have kids, you lose a part of you a little bit because it's just like, you forget who you are because you're doing everything for your children. And I'm like, but isn't it important to keep doing what you love to do too? It's like the never ending story. Like, don't give up on your dreams, because if you give up on your dreams, you're giving up on yourself and then you forget who you are and it becomes lost. And then you have to refine it again. So like, even like I said, like the never ending story, like basically that was what that whole movie was about. And I think that's why a lot of people connected with it a lot, growing up in like the 80s and, seeing all those great movies, it inspired me to really look and like reflect on that. Like, wow, that was deep, because if you really look at that movie, it's like, oh my God, like that's what they were talking about. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dream, which is why he had to call out her name because it's like calling out to yourself. It's like a self-reflection. It's so amazing, like how they did that.
Now, how big of an inspiration was Disney movies?
Disney movies were inspiration when it came to music and singing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I used to do like plays when I was a little kid and we did like Snow White. And I had to play this role as a turtle. And it was like Whistle While You Work. So I was like, we're all like doing this thing. And it had a good, it had a good impact on me to a certain degree, but I wasn't a super huge Disney fan. I did like Disney. Like some of my favorite movies that I loved in Disney was like, I loved Mulan. I loved like Pocahontas. Belle was cool. Cinderella was great. I mean, those are the ones I really enjoyed a lot because I liked it the way they were going with it. And but I really like when they have it's like the woman's like the warrior type. That's why I liked Mulan a lot because I thought that was so cool. And actually, when I was 13, I went with my best friend Danielle to Disneyland, and it was my first time ever going to Disneyland. And her mom took us, and it was the release of Mulan. And so that impacted me so much because like we did Kung Fu when we grew up. I was in martial arts when I grew up. And so when we went to Disneyland and we saw like all the stuff with Mulan, I was like, oh, she's a fighter. She's awesome. That was my hero type of thing because I was like, I could be that. I could be a person like that because I was in martial arts at the time. So I was like, oh, I can kick somebody's butt too. If anybody tries to, hurt my family, and I'd go to war too if I had to cover for my dad or, it was just that kind of emotion. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, your imagination goes crazy with it, but it's pretty fun. What about you? Did you have any like great animations or Disney movies that you watched?
Tarzan was one for me
Oh,
personally.
I love Tarzan too. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a big inspiration for me. And then all of them. Just the singing parts, like you're saying before, like it hits you differently when those scenes, come through, and then you get someone else singing along with you. It hits differently.
It does, it does. But I mean, honestly, like I actually watched more like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z. That was my growing up cartoons. I didn't really watch too much of the other stuff. I was more into like the Sailor Moon, the superhero, card caption, Brandon Heat, Shizuzu. It's a bunch of animations back then I used to watch. Brandon Heat. These are like all 90s. Bushi Yugi. It was cool because I really liked action packed like animations when I was growing up because I thought that was so
Can you
cool.
unpack that for the listeners? How does Japanese manga and music, how did that change who you are today?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it didn't change me because I've always had a love and respect for it, if that makes sense. Because I really feel like maybe in my past life I probably was Asian. I'm not even gonna lie, because like there are certain things about like I'm captivated, and don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of my ethnicity, but I just feel drawn to it, if that makes sense. It's like I feel more drawn to like the Edo period and how it was and how the things were so simple and complicit. It was just so amazing. I really loved it. So, but a lot of my friends influenced me with that kind of stuff that I really, really loved and enjoyed because I was like, man, this is a whole another type of world that I'm escaping to from my own. Because when you're growing up with a single mom and, she's working her butt off and you're home alone and you have to kind of basically figure life out for yourself in a way, and you have your older sisters taking care of you, it's kind of like reflects like, man, like what is it about these? It's like an escape. So when I got into my books or my mangas and, like Murray Puri or like any of that Bride of the Water God, those are like some of the ones I used to read, and it just kind of like gave me that escape to like that world. And I think people that read books, they all feel that way. It's an escape for them because it's an escape for them to kind of get out of their head, and just kind of just enjoy the moment, enjoy the time that they have just reading a book, being expressive, like seeing what's going to happen next, like at the edge of your seat. Kind of like when you watch animations. Like, come on, when you see Demon Slayer and they end the Demon Slayer movie, I don't know if you watch Demon Slayer, but it's a Japanese animation. It's called Demon Slayer. And the way they cut it off, it's just like, oh, what? No! It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, and you have to wait like months for the next scene. Like, come on. It's just that adrenaline. I think that's what really drew me to that, if that makes sense. Because that adrenaline was just like everything. I was like, oh, I got to see the next episode.
It's
So
the
it was really
storytelling
cool.
aspect of it too. The
Yes,
storytelling, it's
best
like if you're
storytellers ever.
feeling something and you start watching Naruto and you start relating to Naruto or a character that's in Naruto, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
the storytelling aspect of it alone. They can do a little bit more storytelling and more involvement in the characters in an animation, aspect of it. Like especially like a show like that or any of the
Yeah.
shows, Japanese animes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think they're the greatest storytellers in the world. I'm telling you. Like everybody, if they made movies the way they make animations, and they read the books the way it would be on a whole nother level. I think they're going to definitely take over. Why do you think, like, the stuff on Netflix that's blowing up, like the Demon Hunters, like they won a Grammy, they won all, because people are ready for that. See, now when I was growing up, though, we were nerds. We were geeks for liking that kind of stuff. But I still loved who I was. I was a very like gothic punk skater girl type of person growing up in high school, listening to Linkin Park and all of my cool stuff. And I had a good run. I had a really good run. I still have a good run, but I really loved it a lot. I just think that when you have those little things, and that's why you see a lot of people in our generation or around the generation that's around my generation, we still have like our little figurines, our little characters, our little things that we enjoy. I mean, I have a Mandalorian light. Like, come on, like, bro. Like, come on. Like, it's just, it's cool. It's something that makes you feel comfortable, and it's something you never forgot. And I think that's also a really important thing to do. I think just because you're older, you can't collect certain things. No, I don't believe that. I think you still should collect the things you love as like you loved when you're a child, because it kind of brings you back to humble yourself, to humble that moment of who you were when you were a kid and how you evolved to who you are now. That's why I don't have any regrets in my life either, despite the heartaches, the anything that went bad or wrong. it made me and molded me to who I am, the version that I am right now. And if I didn't go through those trials and tribulations, as they say, you wouldn't be that version of yourself.
I gotta ask you after that, how'd you get the name Luna?
Luna, oh my gosh. So when I was in high school, um, I used to love like philosophy, Greek mythology, astrology, numerology. So I just kind of ended up getting the nickname Luna from a friend of mine because they're like, you're like the moon. And they're like, you're always into like certain things that everybody like is like, well, really? You're into that? I'm like, yeah, I like it. It's cool. And so they gave me the nickname Luna. So, but it's kind of funny because but the only people that call me Luna are basically the people that know me as an artist. But my family, they all call me Anna, but my actual name is Ariana. So they all call me Anna because I'm my ethnicity. My dad's Black Cuban and Nigerian, and my mom's Hispanic, Navajo, and French, and Spanish. And so I have like a lot of our family is a melting pot. Like I have aunties that look completely white. I have like mother that look African American, and it's like we're all about. And they have family members that are like Filipino, so it's just like it's like a whole melting pot, and it's just I love it. But it's hard being a mixed child because you don't really know where you fit in sometimes. I mean, people that have different ethnicities in them, it could be a struggle sometimes. I don't let it affect me too much, but sometimes it does because when people look at me, they just automatically assume I'm one thing, but I'm not. And it's just like, and then they're like, oh, that explains a lot. Because a lot of people are like, what? You like all this stuff? Like, that's crazy.
I know a lot of people are going to want to support your work after this podcast. Where can the people follow and support your work?
Oh man, you can follow me on I'm Luna Music One. Excuse me. On Instagram, I have a YouTube. But also, if you guys, my main page is the Instagram one. So the way you spell it though, because a lot of people put IAM, it's IMLUNA music and then the number one. So there's no A because a lot of people are like, I can't find you, but they put the IM instead of the IM. They just put IAM. So I was like, no, it's not that one.
It's in the description down below, everybody.
Yeah.
Now I gotta ask you this because I'm an artist as well, and I love singing. I love writing songs. I love the writing song aspect of it. But is there one lyric you've written that really means something to you?
Yes, there is. There's one like one I had. It's called Change, and it's like it goes like this. It goes, change your life. You know what's right. It's like that kind of vibe. I love it. So
love that.
change your life. Boom, boom, boom. I always got those like quotes that I'm like, change your life. Because if you're unhappy, you're not feeling it, change it. And my biggest thing is do shit that scares you. Do stuff that scares you. Because if you don't do the stuff that scares you, you're stuck in what if. And you don't want to be that person that's stuck with what if. You want to be that person that's like, I did it. Even if you fail, it doesn't matter. You can actually say you did it. So I always say that's my biggest motto. Do stuff that scares you. If you don't do stuff that scares you, you're never going to succeed in life because you're always going to be stuck in what if. You're going to be stuck stagnant where you're not moving forward because you're stuck on what if,
I love that. That is such a good point. And the show is called Every Day is Friday, as you know. I want to ask you, what does Every Day is Friday mean to you?
Every day's Friday. The beginning of my week. The beginning of my actual week where I actually do stuff on weekend. And I mean, I love it. I think it's really cool. Friday is my fun day. It's like the days I get things done. I get stuff like my house cleaned or I'll go shopping or get the stuff that I need to do. But I'm always in a good mood on Fridays. Fridays are the fun days.
Hey, make every day Friday. That's exactly. The motto I have for you.
Friday. Make every day Friday.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and experiences. And is there anything else you want to share?
No, I mean, thanks for having me. I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm so glad I got to like meet you guys. You guys are amazing. And I would love to do this again. It'd be awesome.
I love that. I love it. My dad will be watching this 100%. He's my number one fan. Shout out to my dad right now.
Right?
And, yeah.
Dad's number one. Yeah. He was awesome.
And To the people listening, if you enjoyed this, make sure you follow, share, and keep that every day is Friday mindset going, and stay inspired and make every day feel like Friday. Until next time, everybody.